Welcome, my friends. So the PC stock situation in the world is pretty, sucky. But in order to get through that, why don't we just make a video about what is the absolute balls to the wall and then a bit more PC you could build? Like, what is the absolute best stuff you could buy right now? Well, this is exactly what you're gonna find out in this video. Right after this.
If you're looking for a cheap Windows 10 OEM license, then look no further. Bobkeys.com is a website where you can purchase all sorts of keys and licenses for very affordable prices. With a Tech Notice discount, you'll be able to get the Windows 10 Pro license 25% off. To purchase the license, click on the link in the description or search for Windows 10 license on Bobkeys.com. Then add the product to the cart and press proceed checkout. Remember to add the 25% discount code and complete the order. Once you have the license key, click here, paste in the license, and you're all done. Check out bobkeys.com in the description below.
So I did a video before about like the best workstation we could do for Premiere Pro, but this time we're going to be looking at like the absolute best, because since then there's been a few changes. For example, a little teaser here, the Threadripper Pro is now available to be bought like for anybody, so anybody can just buy themselves a Threadripper Pro system. So now when we can, let's absolutely max it out and let's see how much it costs. So right now a question to you, be honest, write in the comments below, how much do you think the absolute best PC in the world right now costs? And then let's see if you were right and how close you were. The closest one wins. So I'm going to leave it for 24 hours and then I'm going to pin the comment closest to it. So if you want yours pinned, comment below. So first of all, let's start with the processor, obviously. The brains of the computer. This is what we have over here. Is the AMD Ryzen Pro Threadripper Pro. Remember the Threadripper there as well. This is a 64-core, 128-thread processor, and it costs $5,798.91. It is absolutely insane. This is the best like desktop processor you could buy in the world right now, and it's like double the cost pretty much what Intel offers. It's just the absolute best, okay? It has ridiculously 128 PCIe 4.0 lanes as well, which we're gonna occupy quite a bit. 280 watts TDP. Ridiculous. Okay, so we're going to be using this processor. Next question is, what are you going to be putting this processor into? Like, what is the motherboard that's going to bring it all together? So guys, you ready for this? This one over here is the Asus Pro WS WRX 80E. This motherboard on its own costs $1,229. Like, you could build a very decent workstation with that same price. So, as you can see over here, there is 8 slots of memory, and it's 8-channel memory. So basically, each stick that you're going to put in there is going to be its own memory channel, and it's going to be super ridiculously fast over there. You have plenty of PCIe full slot lanes over here, and everything is X16 slot. You've got everything that you want in there. Oh, it comes with a Hyper M.2 Asus card over there already as well, so you can add like your own PCIe M.2 slots in there if you ever need any more of those. The other thing is the I/O of the device. Everything is 10 gigabit speed USB port or Ethernet. As you can see, there's dual Ethernet ports or LAN ports, RJ45 connections, and they're both 10 gigabit. You have USB Type-C. One of them is actually USB 3.2 Gen 2 X2 slot, which is 20 gigabit speed with the ridiculous, but all the rest of the USBs are 10 gigabit speed, which is insane. You have Intel Wi-Fi 6 as well, of course, and Bluetooth 5.1. Next of all, you're thinking, how much RAM do you think we should put in there? As a, video editor, you're probably thinking, flipping heck, 128 would be absolutely plenty. And if this guy maxes out 256 gigabytes, like, this is balls to the wall. Yeah, what about 2 terabytes of RAM? This is DDR4, 3200 megahertz RAM. It is ECC registered, and it's 2 terabytes. One stick is 256 gigabytes. Like the Ryzen desktop computers, the maximum Ryzen can have is 128. One stick is double the maximum of Ryzen. It's insane. But hey, why not? Let's add it to the cart. 23 grand. No problem. Now, it's time for CPU cooler, and there is really 2 options, and you know what? I can't really decide which one I'm gonna go for. Deep in my heart, I'm still gonna lean towards Noctua, but there is also Be Quiet a Darkrock Pro TR4 that we could use for this one. Now, in terms of the specs, this one over here has 7 heat pipes, which, you know, in a way kind of makes sense, but just the actual engineering of a Noctua cooler like the NHU14S is, you know, it's just so good. Most of the like system integrators who build pro system for Threadripper like Puget Systems use this same cooler, not Darkrock Pro. So hence we're gonna go with this cooler instead of the Darkrock from Be Quiet. But brown fans, no thank you, we're not gonna have that. This brown fan that comes with it, we're just gonna put this in the bin, and we're gonna use these black fans over here, which are actually better than what are included as well, because they are 1500 RPM instead of 1200 RPM, so they go a little bit faster, and then, you know, they're black because let's say we don't want any brown in there. And I know that the CPU only comes with 1 fan, but we're gonna have a dual fan configuration, so we're gonna have one on one side, one on the other side to get extra cooling for that CPU, just so that our 64 cores will run extra cool. On top of the heatsink tower, what we're gonna have is this Noctua Chroma black heatsink cover that just, you know, gets the silver out of the way and makes the cooler look super stealthy, black and things like that. So we're gonna put that on the top like that, just because we can. And, you know, next of all, let's talk about storage. Now, our motherboard over here has 3 M.2 slots on the motherboard, and they're all PCIe 4.0 speeds. Plus, the motherboard comes with the expansion slot, where there is 4 more M.2 slots. So what we're gonna do, first of all, the 3 slots on the motherboard, we're gonna occupy with the absolute fastest PCIe 4.0 M.2 drives that we can find, which are the Western Digital Black SN850 NVMe drives. These bad boys over here go up to 7 gigabytes per second read and 5.3 gigabyte write speeds. So just one of them we're going to use for OS drive, and then the other one for, like, you know, projects or cache or something like that. This is like the absolute best. Now, the expansion card that comes with a motherboard over here, this one over here, as you can see, it's Silver Hyper M.2 X16 Gen 4 speed. Now, the one option would be to use the same fast drives and occupy all of them for, and maybe pull them together and get like 8 terabytes of super fast SSD storage. Or we could use these Sabrent Rocket Q 8 terabyte NVMe drives. Single NVMe drive is 8 terabytes in size. So we're going to put 4 of them in there. We're going to have 32 gigabytes, sorry, terabytes of SSD NVMe storage. Now, I know this is PCIe 3.0 and this is a QLC NAND flash, which, you know, it's not as fast in the long term, but you're gonna get absolutely tons of storage. And if we pull them all together, we're probably gonna get really decent speeds from there. And we're just gonna use this for just an archive, you know, super fast archive if you need to access your files or big files. 32 terabytes, it's ridiculous. Now, I know we're paying pretty premium for this. 1 8 terabyte drive is $1,400, but hey, why not? This video isn't about the best bang for buck. This is just the best. While we're on the storage section over here, we're gonna have 3 more SATA SSDs, and each of them are 4 terabytes in size, so you have, you know, 12 terabytes over there. Now, why are we using this? We're using them purely because the case we're gonna go for in the end, on the backside of the case, basically behind the motherboard, there is 3 slots of 2.5-inch drives, and there's like a little glass that you can see through the case on the back panel. We're just gonna want something in there. And you know, just to, you know, spend our money, we're gonna use these Samsung 860 Pro SSDs that are 4 terabytes in size, 2.5-inch SSDs. The read and write speeds are 560 megabytes per second and 530 megabytes per second. You know, quite slow, isn't it? Now comes the part of the GPU, and you're saying, so what GPU are you gonna put in there? Most likely 3090. No, we're gonna put in something called RTX A6000, which is basically the new name for the Quadro cards. And this basically is a little bit of a beefed up RTX 3090. So what I'm talking about is this one over here, RTX A6000 graphics card. This one over here comes a single price of $5,500. And no, this is not a scalper price. This is how much the actual graphics card costs. And if you've seen this over here, we've got 10,752 CUDA cores, which is a bit more than RTX 3090, and we've got 48 gigabytes of VRAM. It's double what the RTX 3090 has. We're gonna run 2 of them because why not? In order to run these 2 together, we need something called the NVLink 3-slot bridge, or the NVIDIA NVLink or bridge for the RTX A6000. You know, it's about $250, something like that. This basically just slots between them 2 graphics cards so they can communicate and talk to each other, blah, 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 blah. Basically, let's see the case we have chosen. Now, this is the case that I've had my eyes on for quite a while because I think it actually looks really, really cool. If you can see this over here, it's a really cool case. It's massive. It's a big tower. This is the, this is the glass I was talking to you about. You can see 1, 2, 3 slots of SSDs over here. We've got a massive motherboard. It's absolutely huge. So this is gonna slot in here right very, very well. Now, most likely we can't use these even over here because our E-ATX board goes all the way there. I'm not sure, but it could be. Most likely it is gonna go over there. So we're gonna use these side covers over there to put our cables through and things like that. This case needs a bit of airflow. So what fans are we going to use? Just so you know, in the front of the case over here, you can have 340mm fans, and these covers over here come off. Let me see if there's a picture to show that as well. Oh, there we go. These covers come off, and there's a filter behind over there, as you can see over here, like the Corsair 5000D airflow case. So basically, we're gonna have 3 more 140mm fans over there as well, because you can. So we have 6 140mm fans of intake coming in from the front, and then there is a 140mm exhaust fan on the back over there. So we're gonna add another 140mm fan over there, and then on the top over there you can have 320mm fans. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So altogether there is 7 140mm fans, and then 3 on the top, which takes us to 10 fan configuration. And for those fans, the 140mm fans, we're going to be using these Noctua NFA 14 fans because they're black and Noctua and great quality fans. 1500 RPM, so there's plenty of speed, plenty of airflow over there, as you can see, very quiet as well. So these are the intake fans, and then on the top there, we're going to use the same model basically, but just 120mm in size. Now, in order to actually put them all together, we need a fan hub because there just isn't that many slots on the motherboard, and we want all of the intake and outtake fans to kind of act together and work together. So if there is air pushing in, then at the same speed the air is pushing out, so that they're not going on different random speeds. We're going to be using this Deepcool FH10 integrated fan hub over there. There's plenty of there available, but I thought this will do enough. So there's 10 fans that we can plug in there as well. And then here we go. This is what we're going to be using. Plugging all the fans in, and then they're going to be talking all together and working together. Obviously, one of the last things that we need is the power supply to power all of the juice that we're, putting through this computer. And the best thing that we can find is this EVGA Supernova 1600 watt power supply. This is 80 plus platinum, so very, very efficient, and plenty of cables to power our CPU, GPU, and all that sort of jazz. So how much does all this jazz cost? Our Amazon basket over here that includes all the gear, as you can see, motherboard, CPU, RAM, our SSDs, cooler, case, some more fans, fan hubs, more fans for the cooler, PSU, these for the CPU cooler, and some more SSDs, is $40,978.46. Then our NVLink bridge costs $250, and then our graphics cards, 2 of them cost $5,500, and so altogether another 11 grand. Altogether, this PC costs $52,228.46. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is so expensive. Who would in the world would even want it? And this is like ridiculous, over the top. So let's have a look what our friends from Apple. Let's have a look at this Mac Pro over here then. Let's add our 28 core processor because that's all we can. And then 1.5 terabytes of RAM. Ours is 2 terabytes, so another 500 gigabytes. Then 2 Radeon Pro Vega Duo cards with 32 gigabytes of memory each. Ours is 48, and much better cards. 8 terabytes of storage. Ours is 6 terabytes plus 32 terabytes plus another 12 terabytes, and most of this storage is so much faster. Our 3 2 terabyte drives that are on the motherboard are like double the speed what Apple offers over here. Apple speed is 3400 megabytes per second, faster SSDs and more of it. Apple Afterburner card, sure, why not, because you know. And as you can see, Apple Mac Pro costs $53,399. So ours is about $1,000 cheaper and better in every single possible way. Maybe apart from looks, but hey, that's subjective. You know, you might like Apple more, you might like the one that we customized even more. Ours is absolutely ridiculous. We've got more than double the cores of the CPU. We've got much better GPU. We've got everything just more and better, and it costs less. And that is what you would call the absolute best PC in the world, the balls to the wall, and a bit more, and that's it. Now, you could add even more hard drives and SSDs to it if you wanted to, and more GPUs if you wanted to, but I feel like this is kind of the gap where, like, it's pretty mental, but it still kind of makes sense that it's useful for some people and you could use the storage and things like that. If you want to check it out, I'm gonna leave the links for you in the description, so you can just click on those affiliate links, I'll get a commission, and you can buy yourself, you know, 50 grand PC if you wanted to. Enjoy yourselves. Thanks guys for watching, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.